Well, new numbers out today showed that the inflation rate was little changed from March to April, a potential sign that perhaps inflation could finally be leveling off.
And Sarah Shookman joins us now with kind of a little bit of perspective on what economists are looking at in all of this. And are we actually seeing these signs of improvement?
Yeah, I mean, it's subtle. Let's just start there. But we are talking about the Consumer Price Index today. And the figure from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics out this morning for April showed inflation was up 8.3% year over year, which is down from the 8.5% that we saw in March. So this is the first time since August we've actually seen a pullback, but it's not all sunny. Prices still edged up 0.3% in April. This indicates, though, for the first time, maybe we're seeing inflation start to cool off.
All right, that is important. What is exactly cooling off? We know, for example, that gas prices are not. They're going the other way. I know that most recent price increase wasn't factored into these numbers because these are obviously delayed by several days or weeks. But what is cooling off?
Right. All of these numbers are reflective of April. So
Right.
obviously recent gas prices this month not in there yet. But they look at this across various industries. And one of the industries seeing good news is used car sales. So Mad Money's Jim Cramer has pointed to this as an example of that demand destruction where people with options just don't want to buy used cars if they have to pay that much. So used car prices dipped again 0.4% in April following a 3.8% decline the previous month, but they are still up 22.7% from a year ago. And on the ground here in Northern Ohio, the Greater Cleveland Automobile Dealers Association told me we really haven't seen much change yet, perhaps in part because new car prices are still up.
Availability is driving a lot of the decisions of what's happening with pricing and inflation and things that, where the average transaction prices have moved up higher. And again, if there was more availability, I think on the new side, I think you ultimately have more trades, which would bring the used car prices down. They're still remaining high because of availability.
Yeah, and other industries where prices were still going up along with new cars in April include food, namely meat and bread, airfare, and housing costs. And we talked a little bit about gas prices and why they aren't reflected quite yet. Those were actually down 6% in April. So that's not going to be the case for May, or at least it doesn't seem like it here on May 11th. But high gas prices could also keep driving up demand for fuel efficient cars. And that could, it's all kind of tied in together, right? Now, we did talk about the impact of interest rate increases last week. Many are now saying that this report out today likely strengthens the Federal Reserve's case here to keep raising interest rates by that, 0.5% each month over the course of the year, because the takeaway is a lot of these pressures that have all influenced inflation. We're talking Ukraine, we're talking supply chain shortages, we're talking COVID. They're all still here.
Right.
We're still dealing with them. They might still be problematic as we go into summer.
It's a slow process, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah, great perspective. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.